Hello and welcome. In this video we're going to be taking a look at a 32-inch flat screen Vizio LCD TV, model number E320Vl. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I always give a little safety briefing before we get started. Inside this TV there's voltages and bare lines and powers that can kill you. It's to your own discretion and your own safety if you wish to attempt this kind of repair. As long as you're safe and keep your head about you, you should be okay. With that being said, let's get started. So what you see there is inside of the TV. This is the power supply board. This is the main control board. Here the power board, you can see where the incoming power is, incoming inductors, rectifiers. Basically your high voltage comes out here, and the main voltage here that goes to feed the rest of the main control board comes out there. And this is where we're going to be spending a lot of our time. It's marked and labeled all your voltages, and we're going to be checking those. Over here is your main control board. So what I've done, I've got the power cord plugged in and I've turned it around to where you can see the front panel. And the problem we're having here is a shut-off issue. After I turn it on, we get that light, we get the Vizio splash screen comes up, and then it shuts itself back off. But the amber light stays on. Bring this up and see if I can show you the splash screen. Try again. Turn it back on. It says Vizio. And it shuts itself back off. So that's the problem. Another problem is Vizio doesn't have any documentation on any of their TVs. At least if they do, they don't give it out to consumers. So we're going to have to troubleshoot this by hand. Okay, so I've got my multimeter set up. Set it to DC. And I've just got my ground lead stuck inside one of these mounting brackets here. That should be a good ground. And I'm just going to poke around here and we're going to see what our voltages look like. You can't read these from here, you just have to take my word for it. But these first three say 5.1 SB. I assume that 5.1 SB is for standby. So that's why I'm checking these voltages while the TV is still off. I'm hitting all three of these pins, and you can see I've got 5.1 volts going to all three of those pins, which is expected because the TV does turn on. Let's see what else we got here. We got 4 grounds and then 3 12-volt lines. Let's see what we got on the 12-volt lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing. Also, as expected, because the TV isn't on. So let's just try to turn it on, see what happens. Oh, there's our 12 volts. Oh, shut back off. That line's bleeding down. It looks like it was something. Let's try to turn it back on again. Oh, there's our 12 volts again. Move off to the next one. Oh, we've got 12 volts there too. So my 12 volts are working properly. And we've got 2 on-off pins and a status pin. I believe those on-off pins are probably digital talk coming from the board. Binary on-off communication. We're not going to worry too much with that because I don't have the equipment to test that anyways. But I'm going to assume at this point that our power supply board is okay. is working. There's one more quick little test we can do. And that right here, I want to unplug these two high voltage lines. So let's just keep the lights from turning off, or turning on, rather. I'm going to try to turn it on again. Yeah, so got the same thing happening. By the way, make sure you can see this. There are two blue LEDs on the underside of each one of these boards. And when I turn these on, you can see that those LEDs light up. That's just showing that, to me, that it's more operation that's working. I would expect that if something was wrong, either one of those blue LEDs would come on, or just one or the other. So at this point, I'm thinking that the power supply board is probably okay, and the main board is going to be more of the culprit. Okay, after a little bit of internet research, I've decided I'm going to try to replace the EEPROM. This is where I got my kit from Zimtronics. Here's an email. If you see right there, it says fixes the following symptoms, and the last on the list is it shuts off and goes back to standby mode, and that is the problem that we're having. The consensus on the forums is my EEPROM is the culprit. It's only $20 from these people. They have an eBay store. I'll put that in a link below the video here. So what we're going to do, we're going to replace this little dude right there. That surface mount capacitor there. And that one there. So here we have an excellent example of what not to do when you do this. So what I've done is when I desoldered the EEPROM that went right there, I burnt off two of the pads here and here, and almost burnt these two. Soldering iron is apparently a little warm. So what I've had to do is I'm going to attach this little piece of wire to that trace that used to lead to that pad right there. This second pad that was right here used to attach to that trace, which is actually just the same here. It's ground, I'm assuming, but they're both connected together, so I'm just going to connect the two leads of the chip, the two pins up here. That will be okay. I've used my ohm meter to ohm between that pad and this pin. That pad there actually runs down into here off that main chip. That pad goes to that pin, and that pad goes to that pin. So I've ohmed those four out, and they're still connected. The only issue is here, and I want to cut that wire off about right here, so it's where the pin reaches out, and I'll just solder that together. And what I'll do, I'm trying to show you. So I'm going to take this chip right here, and I'm going to raise this pin up to leave me a little bit of room because of that my wire that I haven't had to lay down. So you see that, just barely raised that one pin up. So now I should lay down there flat. Alright, we've got a board installed now. Fix my screw up on the main board. There is the old EEPROM chip. I don't know if I can get it to zoom in there. Here you can kind of see where the pad come off on the chip there. Alright. So we've got the chip replaced. I'm trying to see if I can get a zoom in on that. Okay, you can see my solder where I bridged those two joints there, and the one that's kind of messed up, and the wire sticking out there in the middle. The 4 pads on the other side are okay, a little burn up, but otherwise okay. They all soldered together nicely. Give it some power. Set it up where you can see it. And voila. You can see up there it says no signal. And it remains on. Some buttons here. I'll scroll through the inputs. All right. Success. So there you have it. $20 fix. So there you have it. Nice, quick and easy little repair job. Quick and easy being relative. Like the video if you liked it. Feel free to subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one.